Hi, my name is Nathan Wells. I'm the founder of Lectio. I've had 20 plus years of experience in Christian translation ministry. And over all those years, we've experimented with different technologies, cat tools, all sorts of things to try to help our translation workflow. But in our experience, those tools always got in the way. They caused friction for translators. They didn't have the full seamless handoff procedures for teams, proofreaders, editors. And now with AI coming in the picture, we've been looking for tools how we can integrate AI into our workflow as translators. And yet at the same time, there's a little bit of concern. Do we really want to hand off translation of the gospel message in Christian resources, in books, in blogs, all these things that we are translating an important message. And so being sure that that message is translated properly is of the utmost importance. And if you really think about AI, like just handing it over to AI, there can be a lot of troubling thoughts in that regard. And then also there's just the reality that in our context with Christian literature, AI doesn't always do the best job. It doesn't select the right terms. It causes problems, maybe brings in religious terms that aren't necessarily appropriate in our target context. And so this last January, after getting together with a group of international publishers, I had this idea. What if we could build something? And with the progress of AI coding, that actually became a reality. So I have a background in web development, but there is no way I'd be able to make a tool like this without a huge team of developers behind me. But now with all the improvements with AI coding, that is now a reality where I can take the ideas, all my experience from translation, leading translation teams, being involved in translation with Christian literature, and put it all into one place. And so I created Lectio for our own team. I still continue to serve remotely in the Cambodian context, but then also for others who are seeking the same outcome, that we would create translations that are accurate, that preserve the message of the author, and clearly communicate the gospel in our target languages. And so that's why Lectio exists. We're only in closed beta right now. So if you'd like access, you can go to lectio.pro and request access. You can give some of your background, and we are onboarding teams slowly, getting feedback from those teams as we build out the rest of our application. So with all that said, I just thought I'd give you a quick preview into some of the main features of Lectio. And then in other videos, we'll go in more in depth into each section of the tool. All right, so right when you log in, you're going to be seeing your projects. You're also going to see tasks and any projects that are shared with you on your dashboard. Some of the first things you're going to want to do, though, if you've just created a new account, is you're going to want to create a glossary. And the way you do that is just click New Glossary. You give it a name. You select your language, the target language, source language, and target language, and then you'd create it. Once it's created, if you like, you can import a TBX file that's like a normal format for glossaries in the translation world. If you don't have a glossary, that's okay. Lectio will help you create one as you begin translation. You'll see here, we've been doing some translation, and so Lectio is adding terms to our glossary, but there is a confirmation step where we make sure that everything is correct before we add them officially to our glossary. Next, you can add translation memory that you have from previous translations. And if you don't have one, but you have previous translations, you can use another tool that I created called translatortoolkit.com, and you can generate TMX files from Microsoft Word files of the English source and then whatever target language you've translated into, and it will generate a TMX file for you that you can download, and then you can upload here. when you upload a TMX file, our AI model will evaluate and prepare that file so that it can use it when you're translating in order to find sentences and phrases that are semantically similar to what you're translating. And that will help the AI model to do a better job, even take some of your style, some of your vocabulary choices from that as well. So it's another way to help guide the AI to follow your direction. The next feature is translation rules. You might not be able to create rules unless you have some experience using AI translation in your language. And so as you gain experience and you see patterns, you can create rules. So these are the rules for our organization. We are translated from English into the Khmer language. And so there's some things that AI just isn't very good at. You'll want to keep this to around 50 rules or so. You don't want to have too many. So you want to make sure they're important and things that are repetitive, things that happen often, not just like a one-off rule that happened one time, but something that's pretty recurring. So one thing, for example, the AI model does not format dates AD, BC correctly when it's translating. And so we created a rule both for AD and BC formatting that the AI model uses then and then does this correctly. We also have in Khmer, there's not really a formal passive voice, and so we try to avoid that when possible. Transliterating source terms that are proper names, and then having that English in parentheses afterwards. This is something that's standard for how we translate. Then there's some things like avoiding Thai loanwords. AI, for some reason, really thinks that when we're translating into Khmer, that using Thai loanwords from Thailand is acceptable, but that is not acceptable, and so we created a rule. Now, to create a rule, it's really simple. You use your source and target, and you actually just, in plain English, explain what you want the rule to be. And you can check if it's a private rule, if it's shared with your team, or if it's public. You can share these rules with other people who are also translating this same language pair so that they can enable that rule on their own translations if they'd like. So there's an example, always translate grace as prekun in religious contexts. And so this would generate a rule, and you'd confirm that the rule is correct. The AI model will generate the rule in a way that the AI model can understand. So it's quite easy to do. The next thing you'll want to do is set up your team. When you first join in this closed beta, you can only have one team. If you do need multiple teams, you can reach out to me and we can talk about what that would look like. But for teams, this is our team. I've allowed 5 seats per team in this beta test. Our team is a little bit larger, so we've increased it. And so you can add members just by typing their email. If they're already a member of Lectio, it will just add them. If they're not a member, it will invite them via email, and they can join not as a full member, but as a user of your team. And so they actually won't be able to create projects, but they'll be able to be assigned document translation. And so it gives them a lower level of permissions. Inside our teams, we're going to want to create a workflow. We can create multiple types of workflows for different types of projects. Like here we have one for a book project, but we have some kind of presets you can use or build your own just by adding steps here. And you can customize to however you like it for your workflow. There are also a few settings here in the team. Some teams like to allow editors and proofreaders to directly edit translations, and so you can enable or disable that here. For our team personally, we like our editors and proofreaders to comment, and then we have a edit review and proofreader review stage where then content is actually changed, but you can change that based on your preference. Also, we have allowing admin access. That would allow me to look at your team, to troubleshoot if you're having trouble with something. That allows me to make the product better more quickly, so you can enable and disable that. And then also we have annotation sensitivity, and we'll talk a little bit more about this when we actually do a sample document. But this allows you to change how sensitive the AI model is to the pre-translation stage. So in some languages, you might find the AI is doing quite a good job at translating, selecting terms correctly. Maybe you have a large translation memory that you're using that's helping the AI model. And so you might want to go minimal. That will decrease the cost, the usage of the tool. But there might be cases where you need more control. AI isn't doing a great translation, even with the default balance. And so maybe you want to do a more thorough pre-translation check that's highlighting terms and really getting your input on the front end before AI does the draft translation. So you can switch this as you go higher, thorough, comprehensive. The cost of that increases as we're doing more calls to AI. But this allows you to have a little bit more control, specifically for your language pair. For languages that AI does a great job with, you might need minimal. For others that maybe have less, of a data set for AI to use, you might need to modify this. So we added that to allow that. So that's a quick overview of Lectio. We will be doing more tutorials in the future, going through each stage of translation and showing how to use our tool. And we really hope that you find it useful, just as our team has, for your translations, and that it really produces high quality translation that is using AI as a tool to strengthen and quicken your translation results.